So when I think of brands that speak to their customers in the right way, I'll say that USAA comes to mind. USAA is a financial services organization that is dedicated to providing services to the active military and to veterans and their families. It originally stood for the United States Automobile Association. They don't use that anymore, but it's a really wonderful story because back in the 20s, military members couldn't get insurance, and auto insurance. It really had to do with the fact they moved around too much, and this is before the age of computers, and keeping those records was just too much of a hassle. And so a number of officers got together, literally threw money into a hat to self-insure each other, and that was the beginning of USAA. And so that community, that idea of helping each other out is just carried through to the organization to this day. And of course, it earned some of the highest net promoter scores of any company in the United States. And it's in a category that rarely gets a lot of accolades from people, the banking industry. And it's interesting to me because, of course, people understand that it's very military focused and that it serves active military and veterans. And that allows the brand to have a great deal of focus. What they don't always see, though, is that it isn't just that focus. There are other military-themed organizations in the country. What USAA really does is commit to their customers. They know what their customers want. They, for example, tend to overinvest in customer service so that when you call, the call will get answered much more quickly, and the employees are encouraged to spend time not just answering the most immediate question, but to really listen for needs and to dig for needs. And I'm going to tell a story about Zappos tomorrow when I present. The idea that when you hear the name Zappos, you immediately know customer centricity is very powerful. And it's because, of course, they encourage their employees to really connect with their customers, whatever it takes. And what's interesting to me is, do you happen to know what the longest ever customer care phone call was for Zappos? The answer is 10 hours and 43 minutes, which of course is just a ludicrous amount of time for a customer service rep to spend with a customer. And in most companies, a customer service rep that does it would get fired or disciplined because they, of course, are being held responsible for call handle time. And you look at Zappos, and it not only did it happen at Zappos, but they celebrate it. They crank up the PR machine. They want people to know about it. And it really speaks to how Zappos is different than so many other organizations where they just want you off the phone as quickly as possible. So most companies don't have much of a customer-oriented culture, even though they think they do. I generally, when I'm talking to clients, don't start with trying to convince them to change culture. That's just too big a nut to crack. So we'll start with just the discipline of CX. What are the processes you need? What are the tools you need? Where do you start? What's the first thing to do? So we have a maturity model that we use when we talk to our clients to see where they may fit in this maturity model. And when you get to the top of the maturity model, it's about culture. It's about, are you focusing on employee engagement and employee satisfaction, because those are very associated with customer satisfaction and customer experience. Do you reward customer satisfaction and customer metrics equally to financial metrics? Is there balance? And there are some organizations that do that, but that's like stage 4 or 5 in our maturity model. It's not a place to start. So for most organizations, we need to work up to that point. So it starts with what the discipline of CX is. How do you get started? What is the data you need? What are the tools you need? And over time, what you hope is that they will begin to use these tools. They begin to think about the customer, putting them at the center of their decisions and their actions. And we will grow to changing culture, but you have to start somewhere. Now,